Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm in Montrose, Colorado for the moment. This is a video about life on a military base, primarily a Air Force base. I was a dependent on an Air Force base up in Canada, here in the United States, as a kid for a while, and also served in the Air Force for a very short while. And I'm just going to give you some, if you've never lived on a base, give you some information about what it's like. First of all, it's as boring as can be. There's not much excitement on a military base, let me tell you. It's a very, very boring place, and I'll speak that as serving in the military. You know, if you're a uh, enlisted man or woman, you know, you're stuck in some barrack somewhere with about 1,000 other people. It seems like, you know, it can get noisy in there all through the night because some people come in, you know, like at work, come from work at different hours. Some of them come in at midnight, and all of a sudden you're sound asleep, and around midnight somebody comes in and turns their record player or whatever stereo or something just wide open, and then they'll justify it. Well, I've worked last 8, 9, 10 hours real hard. I deserve this. I don't care if you can't sleep. I don't really care. You know, the bathrooms are, you know, there's one big giant bathroom, about 100 people, women and men going in them. The NCO club is pretty good. I enjoyed it on the NCO club, and the Airmen's club is not too bad either. But the problem with the Airmen's Club is when I was in the service at 19 years old, I didn't really have much conversation with people at my age. I like to talk about politics and social things and political things most of the time. And a lot of people at that age don't have any such interest. And so that's why I go to the NCO Club more than would the Airmen's Club. I do remember at Keesler Air Force Base that I did one time, for the first time in my life, played a game of air hockey. And the first game that I played, I knocked off the base champ. I don't know his name or something, nothing like that, but I knocked him off. And then I won 21 games in a row. I don't know if that record's ever been broken or not. I was pretty fast then. But what's interesting is in about 1993, when I was 33 years old, in Hawaii, I took on some kids in their early 20s at a arcade there in Kulua Kona on the Big Island. And I was going to show them how it was done. So they creamed me. What I realized is it's true that once you hit the age of 30, 31, 32, you start slowing down. And what I did as a 19-year-old, I certainly couldn't do as a 33-year-old, for sure. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. You know, I had to go to tech school at Keesler. Wasn't a lot of fun getting up at 4 in the morning. You know, I thought getting up at 5 in the morning at Lackland Air Force Base was tough or bad. Boy, you go to tech school in the daytime or in the morning time, they get you up at 4 a.m. And then you got to fall out in the rain, and then you got to march down to your stupid breakfast, you know. Back in those days, and this was in 1979, they didn't really, the food they gave you was very fattening. It wasn't very healthy food, and I don't know if that's changed or not. But anyway, life on a military base is kind of boring. You know, the military police, they do get, we call them air police, they do kind of get bored sometimes, and you'll see them chasing some little kid down the sidewalk somewhere, saying he shouldn't be riding his bicycle that way or something, because it's just boring. It's a really boring place. But if you like that kind of life, you know, that's simple, dull, boring, yeah, that military base be for you then. Um, if you have a family, you know, of course, you may end up having to live off base until you can get a place on base. Um, it's kind of tough, you know. And I remember that when I was in service, a lot of people that were stationed in Hawaii didn't want to go back when they were TDY or just on vacation. And a lot of people that were stationed in Alaska couldn't wait to get back. I haven't figured that one out yet, but apparently people in the military like being up in Alaska more than they like being up in or over in Hawaii at Wheeler Air Force Base. It don't figure. Now, as a dependent, I live at Homestead Air Force Base in Miami, Keesler Air Force Base again in Biloxi, Craig Air Force Base in Selma, Alabama, Goose Air Force Base up in Canada, north of Newfoundland. We're at Dow Air Force Base in Maine, and a few other bases. I can't remember all of them. And as a dependent, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't really as bad. Goose Air Force Base is one I liked most of all. We had 2 years there. Went to a small elementary school. Um, you know, we got to go home. Went to school in the morning. Bus came, picked us up, took us off, brought us back home for lunch. And we got back on the bus again, went right back to school again. So you had a full day. I enjoyed it as a kid living up there. But again, there's not a whole lot to do. You know, the big highlight was going to the NCO club and having chicken, you know, fried chicken. Some of the best fried chicken in my life. I had at Goose Air Force Base when I was between 7 and 9 years old, and it was great. But as a kid, maybe living on a military base isn't so bad. Tyndall Air Force Base, Florida. That's the other one I forgot. I went to the 4th grade there. It was great living there. I just wish I could have stayed home for a few weekends, and we always had to keep going somewhere on Friday night and never got back to about Sunday night. But it wasn't too bad. It's just, but when you serve in the military yourself, it can be, a military base can be kind of a boring place. It can be kind of a quiet place, I guess, and I guess if you like that kind of lifestyle and so forth. So before you join the military or marry someone that's in the military, you know what you're getting into. But it's, you know, you do have your advantages. You go to the BX, go to the commissary, food's cheaper, although I think you probably get cheaper food now at Walmart. You know, you get free medical care, but remember that most physicians in the military, you won't find too many of them over the rank of captain, because when a physician joins the military, he or she is trained by the military free of charge to become doctors. They must serve 6 years, and then they get out and open up their own practice, and which is nothing wrong with that. That's a good idea. I wish I thought of it, but the only thing of it is I would be a lousy doctor. Minute they said, I won't even get into it. You don't want to know it'd be that bad. I couldn't be one. But anyhow, military life, it's just a matter of what you want in life. It can be kind of boring. But it can be, you just don't know where you're going to go sometimes. But I would suggest that you get the bases in Florida like Herbert Field, Eglin, Tyndall. Those are 3 good bases right there. Keesler's not bad, except for the hurricanes like Camille in '69. Those are not bad bases at all. Wheeler Air Force Base in Hawaii is not really bad. The problem is that you're on an island and there's only so much you can do. I mean, nowadays, you know, you can be stationed for up to 4 years on a base. Used to be you'd get transferred every year. You go to a new base. You know, they keep things going, but to save money, they can stick you out there almost for 4 years now. In some cases, or in a lot of cases. Anyhow, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Maybe give you an idea of what life on a military base is like.